Okay. This, I kind of just want to put, where is it? This? Oh, got too much stuff over here. What happens when your papers are not organized, Bront'e? Papers are not organized and things are everywhere. Um, Maybe this is better. Uh, it doesn't really matter. I'm working. I do need my charger though, because otherwise we're going to die, aka the phone. Um, and I think we are good to go. There we go. So, if you are watching, because I'm on multiple places, or I'm in multiple places right now, I am live on YouTube and here on TikTok. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. As promised, I'm doing this every single day. So if you have not been seeing me live before, then hello, nice to meet you. I'm getting some work done while also doing all of this. I kind of want to shift this. Like, I know it's going to be a little bit weird because it's going to be right in front of my screen, but we're just going to deal with it. It's just going to be the thing that happens. So, what do I have to get done today while I am chit-chatting with people? Still getting some of the coaching week stuff set up. I realize that I mostly am working while I'm live and that I'm not actually doing enough while I'm live, so we'll see what happens. But if you have never met me before, this is the first time that you are seeing me. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Bront'e. I am a language coach, which means that I help language learners get consistent with their language studies. I focus on sort of sustainable routines and goal setting, creating schedules, plans, routines. And I work with a lot of people who are learning one or multiple languages. Let's see if I can lift this up a little bit more. So a lot of the people that I'm working with are learning maybe two languages right now. Some are learning three or four. But really the focus is that they want to get consistent with their language studies. And that's what I help them with. And this week I have been coming live every single day, mostly on TikTok, but now I've been showing up on YouTube as well because I want to share with everyone the power of language coaching. So language coaching is, I say it's still fairly new because not a lot of people know about it. But it is such a powerful experience. And I want more language learners to have that for themselves. So if you've been trying to learn languages for a while and you feel like you are not making consistent progress, that you've tried all of the things and they're not really working for you, or you feel burned out because you've been studying for hours and hours and hours, hoping that the thing you were doing was working when in reality it wasn't. I'm just, there's so many different examples of things that either I've personally experienced or the people that I've worked with have experienced. But essentially, if you want to stop making excuses and start making progress, then language coaching is something that I recommend, especially because the combination of working with a language coach and a language teacher is like, it's amazing. Because you have your teacher, especially if you're learning multiple languages, you have your teacher or teachers who are teaching you the language. So they're, the grammar, the vocab, they're giving you the practice time and opportunity. But then once you leave that classroom, it is up to you to continue the process. It is up to you to continue studying and learning and making progress. And especially if you're doing multiple, juggling those languages and actually using them in your life rather than doing what a lot of people tend to get caught up in, which is focusing more on study and less on using it. And so my job is to help people figure out things like, how do you balance multiple languages? How do you balance language learning and life? I get a lot of questions about how do I study these languages while I'm, stressed and tired with my full-time job. I get a lot of questions about efficiency, like what's the most efficient way to learn a language? What resources should I use or should I not use? And these are the kinds of conversations that I have with people in coaching sessions And so one of the ways that I help language learners is in my membership, which is going to be opening again August 18th. And in preparation for that, I thought it would be a really cool idea to have a week of coaching. So essentially, if you have been thinking about language coaching, or if after hearing me or maybe someone else talk about language coaching, you're like, sounds interesting, not really sure if it's for me. The coaching week is a 1 week only. It's live, a live experience where you get a chance to, one, get a feel for what it's like to work with a language coach, and then two, get a feel for what it's like to work with me inside of my membership, my coaching membership for language learners. And my goal is that by the end of this week, whether or not you decide to work with me, that you still walk away with enough pieces to get you started. So there are 3 different things that we're going to be focusing on during this coaching week. And this entire week that I've been live, I've just been talking about it. Like I said, I want people to, by the end of this week, to be able to quote me on all of these different things. And so by the end of the week, people will be walking away with a clarity on things like their guiding principle, which is like your why for learning languages. We're going to be doing some goal setting work, and then schedule creation. The schedule creation part is something that I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on, because I am a strong believer of using a schedule for your language studies. And 9 times out of 10, when I talk to someone about creating a schedule for their language studies, if they say they don't like schedules and it doesn't work for them, it's because the schedule that they created does not work. So if you feel like you don't like schedules, you've tried creating schedules for your language studies, you're like, Bront'e, like, we can't do schedules here. I'm here to tell you, you just didn't create a schedule that worked for you, and there is one that will. And this changes. So I want to give people an opportunity to experience that. And then I've been taking this whole week to really just sit here on live while I'm doing some work to answer questions about language learning in general, like I usually do, language coaching, and or my coaching experience. And I realized when TikTok reset, I never actually moved my camera back down here. So there we go. Now we're in the spot that I'm supposed to be in, which I didn't even pay attention to. So sometimes I might not be like ranting about the language coaching, but if you are here, welcome, welcome. Renee, hello. And if you have questions about language coaching, about language learning, feel free to ask. If you've been joining my lives for the past few days, then you're going to be getting the same, if not similar information that we've been talking about all this week, because my focus and my goal, like all of my attention, is on this coaching week. We start August 13th. We end on the 19th. Doors to my membership open on the 18th, and they close on the 21st. I have on the calendar here. And then I'm dedicating so much time to supporting my members. Yeah, I gotta let everybody know. Absolutely. That's why I started streaming also on YouTube this week. So I was like, hey, as I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel and like playing around with it and giving myself grace and knowing that, hey, it's new. Yeah, I gotta let everybody know. I told people on Instagram, told people on Threads, because yes, I am over there as well. My Facebook people, because I'm pretty much on every platform. So if you go to a platform and you type in the Polyglot Fox, you're probably gonna find me there. For a time when everybody was doing the shift, I even went on Clapper. Didn't really like it, but I'm there. I exist. my platform, my profile exists there. But yeah, my goal this week is to let as many people as possible know about this experience, because I am, well, one, I'm just very excited to be able to present this for people and say like, hey, you don't have to commit to a month in the membership, because there's like a monthly, joining, or you can join for the whole year. So like, you don't have to commit to the whole month. You just for 1 week get an intense version of what it's like to be in the membership with me, and get all of your questions answered, because literally every single day I'm going to be in the group answering questions for language studies. So if you come in and like you type in 5 questions on a Monday, like, okay, now what about this, Bront'e? What about the, I'm going to be in there answering these questions, because that is kind of what the coaching is about. It's about helping you troubleshoot challenges that you're facing and helping you to create the schedule. And because we have specific areas of focus that we're going to be tackling, so the goal setting, the schedule creation, the clarity work, when you have questions around that, ask in the group because I'm going to be there answering it. And then also, I think it's what I feel is really powerful is being in a space with other language learners, because a lot of times it can feel really lonely. Like, oh yeah, I'm the only one struggling because clearly everybody else on the internet is fluent. They're not. Trust me. We all have our struggles. Um, but it's just nice to be able to connect with someone else and say, oh, you're also struggling with this one thing? Good. Okay, it's not just me. Whew. And I love being able to bring people together in that way. So yeah. What do I have to work on today though? Because tomorrow, and it might be tomorrow evening instead of tomorrow morning, but I'm going to be emailing the people who have already signed up so that they can get access to the space and just start getting familiar with everything. Because this isn't hosted on like Facebook, like a Facebook group. My community is on Mighty Network. So I wanted to give people a chance to come in, explore the place, play around with the different tabs before we start officially on Sunday with the first live call. Speaking of live call, if you're someone who's like, yeah, sounds interesting, but it's live, I might not be able to make it. They are going to be recorded. There are no excuses. I am making so many different avenues to stop you from making excuses that the only reason that you should not put yourself in your language learning first is if you're literally just like, Bront'e, I actually don't want to study languages right now. Like, that's the only reason. And being completely honest, because we're going to have the guides, we're going to have the daily check-ins, we have some bonus sessions that you can opt into. It's really about either giving you a reset if you've been studying for a while but feel like you've fallen off track, or if you are just getting started, you're like, this is going to be the year, August is the month that I'm going to get my language study, I'm going to start, then I'm going to get you on track so that you leave this week, like I said, with clarity around your guiding principles, which is your why, the goal setting. So like 1 to 3 goals that are really clear, specific, strategic, and personalized. And then the schedule that will be personalized to you and your needs. I really especially like the schedule conversation though, because I didn't realize that the way I think about schedule, well, I overthink things. Just naturally, I overthink things, and sometimes it pays off to when I explain those overthinking, tangents to other people. And so schedules is one of the things that I thought about way too much and realized that there were 4 different kinds. So I want to talk to people about those 4 different kinds of schedules, help people figure out how to identify which one will work best for you, and then actually map that out. Whether you're focusing on one language right now or multiple languages, whether you're focusing on one skill or multiple skills within that language, like whatever it is, we're going to be creating that schedule. And then after that week, you could immediately start. Like there's no reason why you can't look at your schedule, your goals, knowing your guiding principles, and just start studying and making progress. And the next step that you need is really just accountability. How are you going to stick to it? And you can do that on your own, or you can join. And my job is to keep you accountable and make sure you stay on track and to help you stay focused. All those things. But no, I'm super, super excited about it. So I said, this is the week where I'm going to say it until people are like, Bront'e, we get it. I know. I know what you're talking. Coaching week. Yeah, we get. Yes. I'm going to keep talking about it. So that's what's happening. But I still have a bit to prepare for it, just because I feel like I've been doing back-to-back like events and experiences. What did we have? We had the live workshops back in June or July. I think it was June-ish. And then I was doing some like professional development stuff to redesign my course. Then I closed down the course so that I can actually start re-recording the videos and things. And then I was like, oh crap, August is coming up. I want to open the doors to the membership in August. All right, well, what can I do so that I can show people what it's like? And I was like, coaching week. Okay, great. And then I put this on my plate, which is fine because like I said, I'm super excited about it. But then I was like, okay, how can I design this for people to make it make sense? What are the 3 most important things that I want people to walk away with? How how can I support people during this, just like all these things that have been going through my mind. And then creating the page. So I don't know if people have already seen it, but the link to join is in my link in bio. And creating that page was like, okay, step by step. What are the things people need to know? Okay. And then I got into Canva, the rabbit hole of Canva, because then I was like, oh, graphics. I want to make graphics. And it's just been a spiral. So now I'm like, oh, like the post. I have to type out the post and then the slides for the lessons. So I mean, this is how I naturally work. I think I work well under pressure, so I create pressure for myself and then I get the things done. And this is what it kind of looks like for my language studies as well. It's like I know I work well under pressure. And so if I don't have a teacher to pressure me into doing the things, I usually tell my friends what I'm doing. Like that's one of my accountability anchors is telling my friends anything that I need accountability on. Because then they're going to be like, hey, Bront'e, did you do the thing? And that to me is like the strongest pressure. Having someone else come to me at a later point to say, did you do the thing or not? I'm like, now I have to actually fess up or make sure I did it because I don't want to lie. But that's going off sidetracking a little bit. So what I've been doing today is like I know the lessons that I'm going to be teaching or the workshops, but I really just want to make sure that I have the slides done. I think I'm just going to have everything in Notion and keep it really simple. Also because I love Notion and I just want to show off Notion. So we'll see. But yeah, we're going to talk about guiding principles. We're going to talk a little bit about the cycle of consistency, but not a lot, because that's what I dive into in my full course. Why does that word look weird? I hate that when I've been typing. Is that really how you... That doesn't look right. Well, spell check said that is. I don't agree. All right. So we're going to focus. Let's see. So yeah, I'm working on the first day's lesson. We're pretty much going to have like a Sunday workshop, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday's going to be a Q&A. And then every day that week, I think it's every single day. Let me double check. Yeah, for 5 days straight. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to have bonus sessions that people can opt into. That's additional coaching, additional co-working, and additional collaboration times. So yeah, I'm just like, what are all the ways that I can not overwhelm people? So I'm trying not to give too much, because I feel like that's another sort of pitfall for language learning in general, is being given too much information, because there's already way too much information on the internet and contradicting information at that I feel like I don't want people to come into this coaching week and then be like, Bront'e, you just said 11 things. Now I want to do none of them. So I'm like, narrow focus. Make sure people are seeing results, because the ongoing work as we add on to it, whether you're just like continuing to look at my free content, you look at my other resources, or you decide to work with me, then it's like, okay, we'll add on to it. We'll dive in deeper. We'll explain more of the whys. We'll go beyond a week, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and beyond. And then what I'm also really excited about is that I invited the current members of my membership to this just as a bonus, because I wanted to, the way I've been framing it is that this is also a great opportunity for them to get a bit of a reset. So in the membership right now, we've had like a 3-month connected theme, I guess you could say. So June was mostly about the planning. That's when we had the workshops, and we looked into creating a routine, a plan, and a schedule for your language studies. And yes, those are 3 different things, at least for how I look at them, they're 3 different things. Then last month in July, it was 4 weeks of intense, let's follow the schedule and get the things done. And then this month is all about reflection and refining, which is the final stage or phase of the cycle. Clarity, planning, launching, refining. And so tomorrow we have a refining session, which is essentially my members are going to come on the call and we're going to talk about or reflect. You can do it independently or in a groups on what worked well in your language studies, what did not work well, why and why not, and the next steps. What are you going to do about it? What changes do you need to make? What things do you need to add? We're going to talk through all those things together so that September can be another round of let's make a quick plan and then follow it again. Because I tend to work in that cycle. And after following my schedule, I guess other people would consider it a break. For me, it's not because I'm still studying, but it's really passive and focused a lot more on fun. And that's what I try to share with my people, which is like playing video games in other languages, listening to music often, but you're not with a textbook taking a class if you are not already signed up. You're keeping it really low stakes until you refine your system. So they're going to be invited. It's going to be fun. And they're also invited to the bonus session. So just another opportunity for them. And then if you join, you get an opportunity to meet them and then also potentially, oh, that's a message from Discord. Got it. And then potentially join or opt into the bonus sessions as well, which will be fun. So yeah, this one I think is pretty much done. I don't need a fourth slide, but then the worksheet, deliverable, how it's going to help, guiding principle, PDF/doc, bonus Notion template. We'll already have it. All worksheets available. And then I have this, and I'll include the YouTube video as well. So I'm thinking about like what other resources I can include for people. And I'm gonna go to YouTube, the Polyglot Fox. And there's a video that I uploaded a few weeks ago on clarity that I think would be helpful for people to watch too. It's not directly related to the guiding principle stuff, but it's related enough that it would be very helpful. Copy, pull that out. And let me put the name. Before you create your language learning plan, do this. There we go. All right, and then recap what they've learned. What are guiding principles? Why are they important? Sentence stems. Resources. Worksheets, resources, what to do next, action, task, brainstorm, and identify your guiding principles and post in the Monday action task post or in share. Well, 2 action tasks. First one is share your one takeaway in the post. Yeah. Share your takeaway and then brainstorm. The only thing is I might have to make a separate post for that just because of how it works. So one of the things that I love about mining networks, but it's just a little bit weird that I have to keep in mind, is like we'll do a recording, they'll save it so that I can share it with people later in a post. It'll already make the post, but the post isn't ready yet until the video is done. and the video's not done until the workshop's over. So these are some of the things that I'm thinking about as I'm creating all these pieces. Because again, my biggest concern is I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, but I want people to walk away with tons of support and resources. But I'll get the feedback from you guys. You'll let me know. You'll be like, Bront'e, okay, slow down. Slow down, Bront'e. It's a little too much. And then I'm like, okay, I hear you. Let's backtrack. Let's start from here. Um, so yeah, if you are watching right now and you're just joining, hello, hello. Let me know if you are learning languages, interested in learning languages, and if so, what languages. I always love to talk about it. And then also let me know if you have questions about me, about language coaching in general, about the coaching week that I'm sharing right over here, which link is in my bio. I'm pointing for TikTok. And if you're on YouTube, then it is above my head right there. Let's see. What was I looking for? Okay, here. So group. Wait, what is this? Group activities. Oh. Wait. One second. Oh, okay. Okay, so then maybe I should move these here. Yeah, because that's an activity. I have everything in Notion right now, so I like everything's in one page, and then I also have a board at the bottom, and I'm like rearranging it. This is how I stay organized. Because I have 11 things going on right now, and if I am not organized, things don't happen. Yeah, and then the Thursday here, and I can put this here too because I can have people share their questions if they can't attend that live one at the end. And then we have Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. It should be Thursday. No, it should be Saturday again. Oh, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, okay, that works. That's better. Okay. Yeah, this is exciting. I think what I've been trying to do though is I'm trying to not hop into Canva because I will go into Canva and make more graphics and worksheets and things or like design them. And then the other stuff that's equally important won't get done because I love designing and all the creativity in that. So I'm like, Canva's for later. Pace yourself, Bront'e. Yeah, if you are someone who has already joined for the coaching week, let me know in the chat. If you're not signed up yet, but you're interested, then you can go to either the link in my bio or a link in the description. It's there. It's also just thepolyglotfox.com/coaching week. Yeah. But if this is the first time you're seeing me, you've never met me before, you're like, I don't know who you are, what you do. My name is Bront'e. Nice to meet you. I know if you're just hopping in, you're hopping mid conversation. But I am a language coach, so I help language learners get consistent with their language studies. I tend to attract and find a lot of what I like to call quiet souls, spicy thinkers, and just the people who are tired of having to people all the time when it comes to their language studies. But I help people figure out sustainable routines, how to create schedules for themselves, how to set goals, how to maintain all of these different pieces in different capacities. So sometimes it's just in my courses. Sometimes it's in like the workshops that I host. But this week specifically, I am talking about my coaching membership. So it is for language learners who want ongoing support from a language coach. And if you have never worked with a language coach before, or you have never experienced the power of working with a language coach, we had a conversation about this last night where I got some really good questions on it. And people are asking for like clarity on what exactly it is that I do or how I support. Because usually the first question I get is like, well, what languages do you teach? And as a language coach, I don't teach languages. I help the language learner with everything outside of actually teaching you the language. So some of the people that I work with are learning languages that I have never learned and don't plan to learn, like Swedish, Icelandic, Finnish, Danish, Arabic. Might learn Arabic, haven't decided yet. And then there's some people that I'm working with that are learning languages that I do know really well, or I know in a sort of intermediate stage or upper beginner stage. So languages like Spanish, French, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin Chinese, Russian, American Sign Language, Black American Sign Language, Tutnese. Although I actually don't have any students that are learning Black American Sign Language or Tutnese. But those are just my languages. And so my job is to help you figure out and stick to sustainable routine. So for example, was it yesterday? Yesterday was today's Thursday. So now I'm getting my days mixed up. Yesterday, Wednesday, yes. So I had office hours with one of my students. So this is a person who has taken my course, the Polyglot Project, so knows all about the cycle of consistency that I teach. And then she gets ongoing office hours and accountability with me every single week. And so she signed up for office hours because she wanted to make a shift in her French studies. She's also studying Icelandic and was like, as you know, Bront'e, my French studies has been really casual, really fun for the past few weeks. And it was working for her. But now she's like, okay, I'm at a place where I really want to do something different. And just making sure audio is working, which is like a great time to check on YouTube. But now she wants to get a little bit more strategic with her French studies. And it was harder for her to do that because when it came to Icelandic, she was like, I know I really just want to read Icelandic. Like that's the thing. And so I know I need to focus on anything that's going to help me understand the reading that I'm doing. When it comes to French, she was like, I want to do all of the things. How do I focus my time and attention when I want to do all of the things for French? And so our conversation, office hours, is usually like a 15 to 20-minute call, but because they're every single week, we can follow up. And so we got straight to business and was like, okay, what areas of French are you leaning towards more? Because usually you might have an idea of what you want to focus on, but you're just conflicted. You're not sure what's the right way or the best way. Usually when, the community is telling you what you should and shouldn't do. And she was like, well, I'm leaning more towards listening and speaking, but that's also the areas that are hardest for me right now. And I was like, well, if that's what you're leaning more towards and that's what you seem most interested in, despite it being harder for you, that's probably the area that you need to focus on. And so we brainstorm, like, what are the different ways that that she can focus on speaking and listening in French. Because the goal of that call, and like my coaching in general, but especially on office hours, is that when you leave an office hour session with me, or when you leave a coaching session, that you're not leaving and then still having to figure some things out on your own, unless you in our conversation, you hadn't made any decisions. But I do my best to help people make decisions on the call. So she decided that memorized cards were things that she was going to do. We talked about what are some listening and speaking strategies that she can apply, because speaking is more than just speaking. It's pronunciation, it's intonation, it's sentence building. There's so many other pieces. So we talked about that. And what I always do for any of my clients or my students is we set up 3 levels of expectations for your language studies. So good, better, best. And we thought about what was her level of good for this, what was her level of better, and what was her level of best. And mapped that out specifically. For example, she was like, oh, well, I have a textbook for French. I don't like it as a textbook, but it has some reading things in it. And it comes with a CD. I was like, great. your second level might be reading, and you can read things from the textbook. And we thought about the different strategies she could use with that. And then her level of best is writing. We're like, okay, what are some writing strategies? And by the end of the call, map this out. I was taking notes. She was taking notes. I send the notes afterwards via email. And she was like, oh my God, like now I actually have a plan. Like now I'm just not routine wandering and playing around with what I want to do. I actually have steps to what to do for French. And this is also a language that she had learned for a while, for a few years. And then, life happened and she was trying to pick it back up. And I remember a conversation we had earlier on in the year, probably around March, April-ish, was like, how do you restart a language? And so we talked about that first. So this is someone who I've been working with for over a year now. And we have gotten her, it's really her, because I help you think through the things and brainstorm, but the work is all you. So when we're working together, it's your success and your wins. And she's had 8 months of consistency with Icelandic to the point where she's doing the thing that she wanted to do in Icelandic, which is reading. Is she reading like adult full-length novels? No, not there yet. But she is reading consistently and knows that she'll get there. It's just about improving vocab and grammar. And I have another student who also signed up for office hours, who we're trying to figure out how to get her back on track with routines, because life really happened for her and her routines were just completely destroyed for a few weeks. And so we're like, well, one, we know that you can get back up to where you were because you did it once. It can happen again. But we have to pace ourselves, take our time, and give ourselves grace, because you're starting from zero again. You're not starting from 80 to get back to 100. You're starting from zero. And that's okay. But I have some people who, when I work with them, really feel like, especially because of what other people are saying in the community, really feel like you have to have 3 to 6 hours to practice language learning. And I'm like, no, if you have 10 to 15 minutes two to three times a week, you can make progress. You just have to be extra strategic with that time and have a very narrow focus of what you're going to do. Versus when we give ourselves, one of my mentors says, and I wish I could pull up the quote, but one of my mentors says, she says, like, you complete a task within the time frame that you give yourself. And she's not like the creator of that quote, but she says it a lot. Like the pressure container that you put yourself in is how long it's going to take you. So if you set aside an hour to do something, that is how long it's going to take you, generally speaking. Like this is very general. But if you set aside an hour to do the thing, it's probably going to take you an hour, or you're going to be distracted, right? If you set aside 30 minutes, you're going to do your best to try to get the thing done in 30 minutes. And so sometimes that just means your focus is more narrow and, you take a chunk of that larger thing. But what I try to show people and to support people with is thinking through, how do you make the language learning work for you rather than you trying to work around it and, burn yourself out. Because ultimately that's what happens, is a lot of people are doing things that don't work for them and that don't align with their needs. And then they're burning out. And then you're taking a long break in your language studies. You forget all the things. And then you officially join the group of where we're trying to restart a language. And you feel like you have to start from scratch. And that's a whole other conversation. So. But as you can tell, I can talk about this all day. Where do we have this? So this is just optional. So I kind of want to get an emoji, but what emoji do I want to get? Something random. This bunny rabbit. I'm trying to, instead of color code, I'm trying to essentially emoji code, I guess, the posts that are in my table that I don't necessarily need to look at right now. Well, maybe this one. And I wish this was not. Let me try to type it sideways. grab some tea and let's chat. Ask. Oh, I can. Okay. I'm like, if I can type this out, then I don't have to tilt my head sideways to read this. But if you're just joining and you have questions, I am paying attention. I'm just also trying to get some work done because the past couple days I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna chat and work, and I'm chatting and not doing anything. Not really. Ask me anything. Mm, midnight link. Fun. So, yeah. Perfect. Now I get to delete that. Great. So which posts are done? This one is done. What's been really hard for me is not talking about anything else but the coaching week because I have so many exciting things that are happening or that even happened a couple weeks ago with language learning that I'm like, I want to talk about all the things. I'm trying to pace myself because I don't want to confuse people. Day 5. Doors are open to fluency. Mastery Lab. If you haven't, today we are having a Q and A session to answer any and all of your language coaching related questions. If you are a new or returning member, you can absolutely join in on this call. And when you are ready to join us inside, you can click this link to get started. And then we're going to have link to membership. Boom. Something short and sweet. Don't gotta make it complicated, Bront'e. Why is it not deleting? There we go. Okay. So, how are we doing? I think we're doing okay so far. Of course it's dead. Of course. I never remember to charge my iPad, which is ridiculous. And then when I need it, it's never ready. It's always battery drained. It's so frustrating. But anyway, let's see. Oh, I'm very excited about this part, though, the bonus calls. I really just need to recreate this part. So I don't need to do anything else for that. Yes. And then we're going to think of some polls. I think even if I don't have every single one done, as long as I have some of these pieces done, I think it'll be okay. Give myself grace and all that jazz. Yeah. All right. So, hello, hello, hello. If you're just joining, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am doing a little bit of a combination thing here for live. So I'm here, I'm also on YouTube live right now, and I am talking all things language coaching. So if you have never heard of language coaching before, if you've never met me before, my name is Bront'e. I am a language coach, which means that I help language learners get consistent with their language studies. We focus on sustainable routines, doing things that actually work for you so that you can start using the languages that you're learning. Because what I notice more often than not is that people are learning languages and forgetting that the point of learning is to use the language, not just to continue learning. And so I help people in a variety of different ways. But this week I've been going live every single day in order to tell you about language coaching. So I'm hosting an exclusive event for language learners called My Coaching Week Experience for FM Lab. And this is something that I wanted to create to give people a taste of what it's like to work with a language coach, what it's like to get coaching for your language studies, because that's also a fairly new experience for people, and what it's like to get language coaching within my coaching membership. So I've taken a few different pieces of my membership, condensed it all into 1 week, and starting next week on the 13th, we are, for that 1 week, 7 days, having the most amazing experience for you in your language studies. So whether you need a reset in your language studies, you are just starting and hearing me talk about this, you're like, okay, Bront'e, I'm going to take my language studies seriously. And today's the day that it's going to happen. No matter where you are, what languages you're learning, because I work with people who are learning one language right now and people who are trying to juggle and successfully juggling multiple languages and life. But we're going to have 3 different areas that we're focused on during this week. A little bit of clarity and a lot of planning so that even if you decide not to work with me, by the end of the week, you have everything that you need to move forward and to start making some consistent progress. So we're going to focus on clarity with guiding principles, which are essentially your why for learning languages. We're going to focus on creating measurable, achievable, sustainable goals for your language studies, about 1 to 3. Some people might have a little bit more, especially if you're trying to juggle and manage multiple languages. But these are going to be goals that really set the tone for your schedule that we're going to create on the final workshop day, which all these workshops are live and will be recorded. So if you can't make it live, the recording will be available for you. And on the schedule day, we're going to be talking about 4 different kinds of schedules so that by the end of that call, you have a personalized schedule created for you that you could literally the following day start using. So again, whether you decide to work with me or not, you have all these pieces in place. You also have the resources that I'm sharing. And there's some bonus things that I'm giving to people because I feel like they're really supportive. So things like my motivation boosting workbook, which I've pulled 5 of I don't want to say favorite because I think they're all really valuable depending on what you need. But 5, just 5 strategies on how to find and stay motivated. I'm also creating a checklist for creating a distraction-free schedule because we're creating a schedule. And in my free workshop series that I did back in June, we talked about creating a distraction-free plan and routine. So I want to give a checklist related to that. And I'm also creating a note-taking space for all of the work that we're doing across the week in Notion. I love Notion. I don't know if you're watching right now and you also love Notion. Maybe you don't. So I'm also going to make like a Google Doc version or something else. But I absolutely love using Notion. And so I want to show people the power of Notion along with the power of, language coaching. And these are just bonus resources. So they're not required for what we're doing for the week, but I feel like it would be really helpful to have. And then we have some bonus sessions that people can opt into. Oh no, is it falling apart? Kind of is. Huh. Then we're going to have some bonus sessions for people to opt into, which are additional coaching and co-working sessions. And I'm also really, really excited about that. So I, right now, have been working on the behind the scenes stuff for the week. Throughout the week, I've been figuring out the guides that I'm going to be including, the activity posts that I'm going to be sharing, all these different pieces. because I am a procrastinator. I'm like, just honest. I am a procrastinator. And so if I don't plan these things in advance, they're not going to happen. Or they will, but they will happen very poorly. And I don't want that to be the experience that people have. So we have the Saturday post. What's this one? Monday. Finding someone to practice speaking slash writing with. Memorizing or retain information. Finding, choosing strategies or resources. Choosing strategies or resources that actually work for you. And I guess I don't need those to be capital. What's another thing? What's another one I can put here? Finding someone to practice speaking or writing with, memorizing or retaining information, choosing strategies or resources that actually work for you, or, accountability. Sticking to your plan and actually doing the work. And then the fifth one will be other, explain, and comments. Boom, done. Look at me being productive. Normally, I'm very distracted on lives. Like, unless I am really strict and I say, this is a body doubling live, I'm setting a timer, there's no talking during this time, then I'm going to be talking the entire time and I'm not going to be doing as much work. Unless, no, actually, no, I was really distracted then too when I was playing games on lives, which if people like watching me play games in other languages, I will do more of that because I'm on Twitch, but I have like a personal Twitch account. But I was thinking that if people do like that kind of content as well, then I can create a schedule for going live here on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Twitch, and be the nerdy person who is playing games in other languages and just show you that. And maybe turn it into a how do I use video games to learn languages? Not all the time, but just sometimes, along with just generally when I show up and we do Q&As together. I thought it'd be fun. So this is supposed to be attached to day 1, 2, 3, day 4. Day 4. And what is day 4 about? What did I put here? Because I don't even remember what I put. The challenges. What do you find most intimidating? Oh, okay. One way to overcome the challenges. Absolutely. Got it. Perfect. So yeah, if you're just joining me and you are interested in learning languages or have been doing it for a while, let me know what language or languages are you learning? I always love having conversations around that. Let's see. So something around this. How have we been doing so far? Oh, wow. Really? Almost an hour already, huh? Does not feel like it. Oh, there's an auto stop? Huh. Maybe I should come back on live a little later because I know my people are usually used to me going live at like 8 p.m., 10. Like that's when that's when my at night owls tend to show up. Uh, what is way, one thing that makes you feel most supported in your language studies? And what are some four things? So, what is one thing that makes you feel most supported in your language studies? Um, Having a study buddy to check in with and study with regularly. Maybe it is having a, well, I guess I could take having if they're all going to say having a study buddy, a clear and strategic plan that is easy to follow and sustainable. What else can I put here? I don't know what else. What are some ways that you feel most supported? I don't know what other ideas I can put. I'm trying to create a poll, and I don't know what other options to put for this. What is one thing that makes you feel most supported in your language studies? A study buddy to check in with and study with regularly, a clear strategic plan that is easy to follow and sustainable. Maybe like a class that helps you or that gives you a clear and organized curriculum to follow. And then I'll say other, answer, and share in the comments. Boom, we're good. Future Bront'e is going to thank me so much for this. Okay, here we go. So if you are just joining, hello, welcome. I am doing a little bit of a combination. So I'm working right now, like getting some stuff done for the coaching week that I'm hosting next week. And I'm also answering questions about language coaching and the coaching week. And also just hanging out. So if whether you want to learn languages or not, if you just want to hang out with me because you're like, hey, I'm already here on TikTok or on YouTube, so I might as well just hang out. Would love to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then if you are one of my people who is learning languages or interested in it, then stick around. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to share what languages that you're learning, I'd love to hear about it. My list is pretty long. This one's done. Yes. Next post. What are we doing on Saturday? Well, let me look at the whole week again, because I don't know what should happen on that Saturday. I thought I lost that for a second, but we're good. It's okay. Crisis averted. Let me make sure the live over here is actually working. I'm gonna hear double, which is gonna be a little weird, but connected. Oh, it's still on speakers. There we go. It is. Okay, we're fine. All good. YouTube stream is all good. And I know TikTok is okay because I see you guys here. Hello. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I feel like I've done my spiel so many times that I feel like the people have been sticking around so far. Like, Bront'e, we get it. You've told us 3 times already what it is you do and what the coaching is about. We get it. Which, that's the point. But I want to say it enough that you could probably quote me. Um, yeah, my focus this week is to tell you all about the amazing experience of having a language coach and how that can drastically shift your language studies, especially if you feel like you've fallen off track, if you're not sure of where to start, what to do, how to create the schedules, how to set goals for yourself, how to stick to all of these things. That's part of what I do. I also help people troubleshoot. Um, so right now my focus is I am opening up the doors to my language coaching membership on the 18th. And in preparation for that, I thought it would be a really cool and really great idea to have a coaching week, which is essentially me sharing what it's like to work with a language coach in general and what it's like to be a part of my language coaching membership. So it's 1 week only. We start on the 13th, and I'm going all in every single day to support every single person that joins in to show you what it's like to have me on your side, answering questions, giving recommendations, giving feedback, all these different things, in addition to the amount of progress and like mindset shifts that happen when you have this support. So one of the quotes that I tend to say a lot is like, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Didn't make up that quote, but I've learned over the years, especially when it comes to language learning, how powerful that is, because there's a lot of people who are learning languages who feel like they're not good enough at learning languages. They don't have the language learning gene, that, constantly comparing themselves to other people and are like, well, I'm never going to get that far, but at least I'm going to learn. If you think you're not going to be able to do it, your actions, like you're inherently going to do or avoid things that reinforce that belief in yourself. But if you truly believe that you can make progress, that you can learn languages, that you can use the languages that you're learning, and you just don't know how to get there, then you are constantly going to find ways and be really creative about how that happened. And you're also going to be more open to asking for help, which is going to help you, achieve the thing. And so some of the people that I'm working with, like one student, when we first started working back in January together, was really, really hard on herself. Like every conversation that we would have together was her saying that she knows she's, stupid, and she knows she's not really good at learning languages. And I was like, okay, we're going to pause there. I was like, I recognize that this is how you feel, and I don't want to tell you not to feel that way. But what I want to point out to you is that when you talk that way about yourself, it reinforces the feelings in your mind and your body that you're not good enough. And then you're not going to do anything more than what you expect you can do, which is very low. So we have to shift the thinking around what you're doing, the wins that you're having, all these different things, so we can prove to you that you can, that you're not stupid, that you are doing amazing. And then we will get you going beyond that even more. And like the way that she talks about her language studies now, even with like life gotten away for her, she had lots of stuff going on in her routine, completely trashed. But the way that she talked about that entire experience in comparison to how she talked about it when we first started working together back in January, it's so like, it's amazing to listen to and watch, that I'm constantly pointing it out to her. I'm like, do you hear that now when you talk about how you haven't studied for 3 weeks because, like, again, life happened, you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it sustainable for myself so I can pick it back up, because I know that I can do it, and I just have to figure out how I'm going to get back on track. I was like, do you hear that? Do you hear how you just said that about yourself? Where before you'd have been like, oh, I'm a failure, it's never going to work for me. And then guess what? It wouldn't. It wouldn't work for you, because that's what you believe to be true. And so to see her excitement from that, I'm like, this is why I do this. This is why I do what I do. And so we're working to figure out and test out different routines for her to get her back on track. Because she was doing an amazing job, and then things outside of her control happened, which, life happens. And my job is to help you figure out, well, how do you sustain your routines when that happens? Because I think too many people create a language learning plan, routine, schedule for themselves around their ideal self, when your ideal self is not every day. Your ideal self is once in a blue moon. Why are you creating a schedule for yourself around the person you are when you've rested very well and you're not stressed out? Like we deal with stress all the time in our lives. You can't avoid it. There are days when you're not going to get enough sleep, and then there are days when you're going to get really, a lot of rest. So rather than trying to create a schedule and a routine around the you who had an ideal day, and then beating yourself up and feeling guilty about the days when you don't have a good day, why not create a schedule and a routine around your bare minimum, so that you can say, if nothing else, if I do these things, I know I'm making progress. And then on those good days, you do even more and you're seeing even more progress. That's how I look at it. And so that's why, whether they're in my membership or in my course, the Polyglot Project, I teach people about the 3 levels of expectations. So good, better, best. You're setting your level of good for your language studies, level of best, better, and then best. So that if nothing else, if you are every day getting your level of good done, you know you're making progress. Is it fast progress? Absolutely not. But for me, I'm not in the business of trying to go quickly, because a lot of people who try to make really fast progress forget about the maintenance part. And I would rather make slow progress that is sustainable than to make fast progress that I forget everything, because I would be more frustrated with that. Like that would make me want to quit. Would I quit? No. But would I want to? 100%. 100%. Uh so we've been on for a while, and because, like, I have to just say, like, I have to give myself a little pat on the back, because I gotta celebrate a win. I've been doing lives every single day this week, and I never thought that I would be the kind of person who could do that, like, energetically, like, not physically or anything like that, just by sheer will of my introversion, that I've been able to show up here every day. Like, I'm proud of myself for that, and I have to say that so that I show up tomorrow. Because otherwise I might not show. No, I'm lying. I'm lying. I already committed. And when I commit to something, I do it. But, let's see. It feels weird because I feel like most of my posts are done. What's happening on Saturday and Sunday? Um, because those posts I can just make in the community. So I don't need to make a separate thing for that. Yeah, and then I offer the down. Yeah, okay. Maybe Saturday update is another poll. Which tasks, how many of the tasks were you able to complete this week? No shame, only checking in. I completed one. Let us know in the comments which one, so we let us know which one in the comments, so we can celebrate you. And then options. I completed one. One, two, three. Bet you nobody remembers that. 3. And that should be the only thing. And then Sunday, what do we want to do for a Sunday poll? Maybe Sunday is, how are you? Oh, wait, we have different polls, right? Poll, how are you feeling about your language studies right now? Oh, then I can have one for the beginning of the week. Fun, the hot and cold one. I'm going to do a double poll. Double poll. Double poll or one? No, I'm going to do hot and cold. No. How? Something like that. Tell us in the comments what made the biggest difference for you. And then what do we have next? Monday, doors close. Doors to the Fluency Mastery Lab. Lab are closing tonight. Oh wait, this isn't an activity post. So because it's not an activity post, what happened? It's cut off weirdly. Yeah, this isn't an engagement post. And that's, yeah, public invitation. Oh, I could do that next time because I didn't do that this time. I completely forgot. I have all the... Ooh. I guess I should do that too. Yeah, cart close. So this is Monday night. Which means that this needs to go down to here. And which means that this I don't need. I can delete that. Tuesday, I'm going to put to archive the group. Coaching week is officially over, and the doors to Fluency Mastery Lab are now closed. This means that access to this group, that means that this group will be archived. So you will still be able to access things within this space, but no longer able to post anything new. Last day for this community is, and I'll give a week. I'll say, oh, no, August 31st. So we can end at the end of the month. 2023. And I guess what I could do is find the links to the TikTok videos that I made for talking about this so I can link everything together. I'm trying to be extra organized because this is something that I want to do more often, especially when I get the feedback from all of you who are joining. Then I can look at all the feedback and make the coaching week even better next time when doors open again to the membership. And that'll be fun. So the more organized I can get now, the better future Bront'e will feel about this entire thing. So we'll see. But I've been on for a while, so I might stay until 30. What am I looking for? View profile. Okay, so we have this one for the coaching week. Um, Here we go. Create a bookmark. And what's the other one that I did? How to join. Which I didn't actually make input on Instagram, but I don't think people need that because I think it's a lot easier. I think people on Instagram are used to doing all of this. Okay, next one. Oh, that was a story. That's why it's locked. I'm like, why? Yeah, that's why. Okay. This one. I'm like having to look around. So my phone's right here and my second screen's right behind it. So they have like 11 tabs up. So I have to keep like ducking and dodging to look at all the pieces. Um, Here we go. And then I already have the post that I've made, which is great. Okay, I didn't make any images, I realized, but I'm gonna make images for the actual um, doors open thing. So that'll be fine. I have tons of polls. That's fun. Make it a 3? No, 2. Boom, done. Progress is happening. Love it. Love to see it. Okie dokie. Dark mode. Yes. Oh, so much better. So much better. I guess I could go into Vista Social to get. I can do that another time. I don't have to do that right now. I'm like really trying to be organized. I guess I can continue planning out the lessons. I think that'll be good. So I already planned out, well, like I have the plan. It's not like I'm working from a blank slate or a blank page. So I have the 3 workshops that we're going to be doing live during the coaching week already planned out. Like I've been telling people this whole week, we're focusing on guiding principles, so your why for learning languages. We're doing some goal setting work, and then we're creating your personalized schedule for your language studies. And so that by the end of the week, whether you decide to work with me or not, you walk away with your why for learning languages. That's like what's telling you you're going in the right direction or not. That's really the foundation of what you do and helping you to set really clear, specific, achievable goals. We're going to be doing the goal setting because for me, goals are milestones and they're like, the checkpoints along the way. And then helping you to create a schedule. I teach and I focus on 4 different kinds of schedules for your language learning. We're going to dive into that during the workshop time. There's going to be tons of coaching throughout the week. Like I'm literally going to be in the community every single day, answering your questions, giving feedback, giving recommendations if people aren't sure where to start. And also the community's there to give recommendations. Because like I said, some of the people that I'm working with are learning languages that I have been learning or know really well. And some people are learning languages that I don't know. So if you've been following me on TikTok for any length of time, then I say that because I'm also live on YouTube over here. Then you might have seen my content where I was sharing how to do comprehensible input in some languages. Some of the languages I was asked to find resources for are languages I'm not learning, like Italian or Portuguese. Those are languages I plan to learn, just not ones I'm learning right now. Therefore, the resources that I can recommend is only based on what I found on the internet, not based on what I've actually done in my language studies. So it's a little bit different. Um, but the overall goal is to show you what it's like to have a language coach supporting you and what it's like to work with me in my language coaching membership. But also, again, if you decide not to, that you still walk away with things that you need and you can just go off with your schedule, your goal, your guiding principles, and make some progress in your language studies. I'm so excited about it. So I'm like over here planning because I know myself. And while I do work well under pressure, I don't want me working under pressure, meaning that I burn out and that you all don't get an amazing experience in this coaching week. So it's 1 week. We start on Sunday, the 13th. And from the 13th to the 19th, we are going all in on getting you off on the right foot. So essentially, if you are starting a new language, like today you decide, I'm going to learn a language, Bront'e. Maybe I don't even know what language I want to start on. Then the coaching week is going to help you figure those things out. If you're like, Bront'e, I've been learning for a while, I've fallen off track, I don't even know how to get back into it or restart the language. Okay, we are going to help you get back on track, restart that language so that you can make some consistent progress. And then if you're like, I've been pretty consistent, but it's not where I want it to be. Then okay, we're gonna figure out what the challenges that you're facing and troubleshoot that for you using these 3 different workshops that we're using, because it's pretty much the 3 of the things that I often recommend. I usually go way more in depth in my coaching and like in my course on these 3 areas, but it follows the cycle of consistency that I teach in my course, which is clarity, planning, launching or implementing your plan, and then refining it. Which link in your bio is for the workshop? So this coaching week, it's the one on the very top. Sign up for my coaching week. I think it's like a maroonish button. That's the coaching week. So if you are ready to join, or you can type in like hugotfox.com/coaching week, but it's easier if you're on TikTok to just go to my link in bio. It's the one at the very top. So you shouldn't even have to scroll down. It's like right there. It's like exclusive, this week only, all that lingo. But if you still can't find it, let me know and I will put the link in the chat. I have to like pull it up myself on my phone, so hopefully that works. But yeah, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. So Tuesday, oh, this is the engagement post. I don't need to look at that. Wait, did I really do everything? I did everything else? I was actually productive today on live. Look at that. This is a miracle. Okay. Huh. Coaching week. What's this? Oh, that's pretty much what okay. I'll fill that in later. All right, lesson 2, workshop 2 on measurable, achievable, sustainable, all that jazz. We are going to make these all heading 2. And actually, let me copy over what I did here. Because that'll be easier than starting from scratch. There we go. And now we are not starting. Yes, for only $7. Absolutely. Because I wanted it to feel really easy to join. I didn't want people to feel like it was a big commitment either through like the cost or time. And I really want, like, my big goal is even if people decide not to work with me, I am in collaboration with some other language coaches. Like, we just want to help language learners. So I'm like, if nothing else, not only do you walk away with all the things that you need for your language studies to, start making consistent progress, but you also have the experience of what it's like to work with a language coach, because it is not the same as working with a language teacher. I am not directly teaching you any one language. I have experience myself learning 8+ languages. I work with people who are learning a combination of languages that I know or do not know. So, for example, some of the people currently in the membership are learning languages like French, Korean, Japanese, getting ready to learn Mandarin, because one person's taking some college classes soon. And then I have some people who are learning languages that I've never learned before, like Swedish, Icelandic, Finnish, Danish, Arabic. Those are not languages that I know, but the process of coaching is the same no matter what language. Especially the way that I do coaching, which is I'm focused on helping you figure out what works best for you, which is why a lot of the questions that I tend to get or I see like in Facebook posts, people don't usually like the answer that I give, because it's never like a do this thing, like a recommendation. It's always focused on, well, what do you want to do? Because that's really what's most important. I get questions like, or even yesterday, I think someone came here on the live on TikTok and was like, what are the 10 most important phrases for you to learn in a language? And I was like, you're not going to like my answer. My answer is the 10 most important phrases that you are going to use. Because if you're never going to go into a restaurant, you never need to learn and to use like phrases related to ordering food and, responding to a waiter or waitress and all that jazz. And then there's certain vocab that you might need to focus on versus not. So it really depends on you. I've gotten questions like, what's the most efficient way to learn a third language? I'm like, the most efficient way is the way that worked for you. Especially if you're talking about a third language, that means that you've already learned a second language. What did you do that worked? What did you do that didn't work? And that's personal to you. And then we create a plan around that and a routine around that. So, like, I could absolutely be someone who just says, go and, I mean, there's already conflicting information on the internet, because there's groups of people who say, never use Duolingo, only use a textbook, never use a textbook, only take a class, don't take a class, hire a tutor, don't hire a tutor, travel to the country, don't travel to the country, it doesn't matter. Like, all of these people, and everyone is right and everyone's wrong, because it literally doesn't matter what strategy you choose, what resource you choose. It's about what you do and what works best for you. I always give the example that you could literally learn a language from a dictionary. You could pick up a dictionary because it has sentences in it. And like I have a whole separate course on sentence building. Like you could follow those strategies with sentence building, build up your speaking and your writing skills, as well as your reading, because you're reading from the dictionary. And you could learn a language that way. But most of us are not going to do that because that sounds boring. Therefore, it's like, what are some resources that you're excited to explore? What are some resources that you're willing to explore and we can make them more fun and exciting for you? What are some strategies that have worked for you when learning languages or learning in general? Like, these are the kinds of questions that I ask my people, whether we're in like a group coaching call, because I have group coaching in my membership, or if we are working one-on-one. So my VIP people are people who have taken my course and they've transitioned into my VIP membership, and they get weekly accountability from me and office hours that they can, sign up for on a weekly basis. And those are the people that I sit with one-on-one, and these are the kinds of conversations that we have. Like, I literally just had a conversation with one of my people yesterday talking about how to transition from her French studies being really casual and passive to now being really strategic with it. And she was sharing that, in comparison to her Icelandic studies, where she knows she really just wants to read the language and understand books. With French, she wants to be able to do all of the things. And she's like, well, how do I focus my time and attention on that? What do I focus on first? What skills should I focus on? I'm like, well, I can't tell you what skills to focus on. Only you can figure, tell that. So let's ask these questions. How do you see yourself using the language? And what skills are you leaning more towards focusing on? And she ended up telling me listening and speaking is what she was leaning toward, but are also the ones that are really hard for her. I was like, okay, despite it being hard, that's what your mind and like your interest is more invested in. So let's do that and let's figure out how to make it easy for you. Because we're not about to make it complicated. We want this to feel doable and sustainable. And so we really just mapped out what I like to call the three levels of expectations: good, better, and best for language studies. What was her level of good, which is like bare minimum. If she does this, she knows she's making progress and maintaining. Level of better, which is like on a normal day, what is she expecting herself to do? And then best, on an ideal day, all the time in the world, all the energy, and like it's an amazing day. What is she expecting her to do on this level of best? But it's not an expectation for every single day. And we mapped out these three different things. And this is something that she's been reworking for her Swedish studies. And we were able to come together and brainstorm this. And one of the things that I really like about these calls is that my goal by the end of a call with me, whether it's the office hours with my VAPs or the group coaching, or even I have some like asynchronous ones, which is essentially not live. By the end of that, I want to make sure that everything is really clear and specific so that you don't have to make any decisions after the call, because that's when we fall into procrastination and, productive procrastination sometimes, where you're doing things, but you're not doing the things you should be doing, or you're routine wandering because you're all over the place and you're not really sticking to one thing you should be sticking to. I don't want that to happen after the office hours call. The goal is you walk away and you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. And I know how I'm going to stick to it. Boom. And you just do the thing. And then in the next call we have, again, whether it's the office hours or with my pro members, which they get two opportunities to get coaching with me. The next time we have coaching, it's like, okay, how did it go? What was working well? What is not working well? Let's troubleshoot it. What challenges are you facing? Well, let's brainstorm how to overcome this thing. Like, it's ongoing, because you really have to adapt to your life, but also make sure that the plan that you create is aligned with you and your needs. Like, you shouldn't be pushing yourself to study for hours and hours every single day, 3 to 6 plus hours, simply because somebody else on the internet said that that's what you have to do in order to be a good language learner. Like, if you only have 10 to 15 minutes 2 to 3 times a week, I guarantee you can make progress in a language with 10 to 15 minutes 2 to 3 times a week. Is it going to be super fast progress? Absolutely not. But it will be progress, and you can maintain your progress with that little bit of time. One of my first students was someone who started off with 10 to 15 minutes, and she was like, I didn't believe you. And this is like one of my friends who joined early on. She was like, Bront'e, I know you say this a lot, but I really did not believe you. I didn't believe that I could just focus on 10 to 15 minutes 3 to 4 times a week. She's like, but I did. And oh my God, it was amazing. She was like, I feel so much more freer, because she also has like a family to take care of, and she has some kids. And she was like it didn't feel stressful to get my studying done, and I actually got it done. And she was like, I was seeing progress immediately because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that thing I studied last time, and it felt doable. I'm like, that's the goal, to make it feel doable. Like, you shouldn't dread your study sessions. If you're dreading sitting down to get the work done, or standing up, however you decide to get your studying done, if you're dreading your study session, something in your system's not working and you need to fix that. It's not you, but something in your plan, your routine, your schedule is not working, and you need to change it. Like, ASAP. And that's what I love to help people figure out. I'm a nerd when it comes to planning, and I always have so many ideas. But I also want to hear from you all, because when I'm working with a client or a student, like, you know yourself well. And maybe I have to highlight things, but you know yourself well. Did you say on Sunday? Yes, we start August 13th. There are going to be 3 live sessions plus a live Q&A, but those live sessions will be recorded. So if you can't make it to the live sessions, the videos will be up within like the next 2 hours or so that you can watch it immediately after and still get that support. And I'm going to be in the community the entire week. So, I'm also a night owl. So New York time, I probably will be in there late because I want to make sure that people get what they need. Time. So I think most of the calls, let me just double check. Most of the calls are going to be 1 p.m. EST, so New York time. And then there are some bonus sessions that people can opt into, and I'll be sharing that with everybody. I think we open the doors tomorrow, so I'll be opening up the community tomorrow. I'm so glad you're going to be there with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One of my favorite conversations yesterday, speaking of people joining, was someone saying, I need to invite my friend. I'm going to send her the link. We need to do this together. I'm like, that's like an amazing thing to do. Having a buddy, like almost like a buddy system. Like, we've been procrastinating. We have been putting this off forever. You know, we've been talking about studying Korean because we want to learn these dramas, or, you know, we couldn't get a handle on French and Spanish in school. We're finally going to do it together, bestie. Let's get this done. Let's do it together. Absolutely. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see. So where, first time attending a workshop live with me. I think the introductions are still the same. Pull from the Languaging with Confidence series. Yeah, we got to do that. Whoops. Accidentally deleted stuff. We're going to focus on the next phase of consistency, which is planning. Yeah, we're going to focus on planning. So yeah, by the end of the week, I might have said this already. I know I've said it a few times during this live because we have been on for an hour and a half now. But by the end of the week, I want to make sure that even if people decide to not work with me and join the membership, that you walk away with your guiding principles. So your why for learning languages, and it's really specific to you. You walk away with anywhere from 1 to 3 goals, especially if you're someone learning multiple languages. Like right now, I am improving and or maintaining. Well, there's some that I'm not really focused on right now, but I have 8 languages on my list right now. So if if you're coming in and saying, I don't really know if I can do these 3 or 4 or 5, I'm like, yes, you can, because I'm at 8. So we will get you there. But we're going to get those guiding principles, the goals, and depending on how many languages you want to focus on, that'll add a goal to it. And then schedules. One of the workshops that a lot of people really loved in June when I had it was talking about, part of that workshop was talking about the 4 different kinds of schedules that I recommend people figuring out which one works best for them. Because I'm a true believer in everyone creating a schedule, but if you've done it before and it didn't work, it's just because the schedule did not work for you. So the last workshop is going to be all on schedule creation. So again, by the end of that, you're going to have that schedule, that personalized schedule for you. And you could, hello Sapphire, hey. Yes, you were one of the people who were participating in the schedule conversation. But yeah, I think I thought way too much about it, and luckily it was one of the things that paid off, because when I explained it to other people, it was like a lot of ahas. I don't want to say I tend to overthink, but I'm always reflecting. Like, my natural default setting is reflection and thinking through things, because I'm always like, well, why? And what makes sense here? And all these different pieces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We just had another person join the coaching week. I'm so glad to have you. Love it, love it. So yeah, I am every once in a while just trying to actually get some work done, which is all the planning. I have this Notion page, which has every single thing for the coaching week, because I'm trying to stay really organized, because it's just a 1-person show. It's just me. And so I'm like, you are in. Yes. I'm so excited for you. I'm really so excited. And doors open tomorrow. So you will get an email tomorrow with the link to the community space, because I actually have to create it and I'm going to do it tonight. So that you have access, you get to meet people, explore, because it's not going to be on Facebook. I know sometimes things are happening on Facebook. I have my membership on Mighty Network, so I wanted to give people a time to explore it. Schedule has been working. Met my July goal, being able to recognize 10 Mandarin characters. I love that. You know I'm celebrating. Like, you make sure, Sapphire, make sure you write that down. Like, I don't know if you have the worksheet or even just like a blank space if it's not the worksheet from me of like wins that you've had in your language studies. Write that down so that later on, because it happens to us, when you're not feeling great about your language studies, when like you're experiencing some setbacks, you can look back at that list and go, but remember the time when my schedule, so make sure to add it to that worksheet. Like, remember the time when my schedule was working really well and you met I met my July goal of recognizing these characters. I can do it. Like, we need that. I call it like a positivity bank. I actually have a version of that. I have a few versions of that. Like, I have my language learning one, I have my business one, because it's really easy for me in any capacity to feel really bad and only recognize the negative things. So I'm like, I know there are other people like that, that also tend to hyper focus on the negative things and forget about all the amazing things that they've done along the way. So, but yeah, I'm glad that I'm so proud of myself for being able to do these lives every day. I did not think it was gonna happen, or I thought I was gonna show up and just be like, hi guys, I'm here. Welcome. I'm tired. I'm peopled out. But no, like my introvert energy, because I preserve it. You know what I've noticed myself doing this week is, generally speaking, I've had calls earlier in the afternoon, because generally my day doesn't start until like 11 or 12. And so I've had calls earlier in the day, and then what I've noticed is I lay down. Like, I immediately go into hermit mode and I'm reading for like 2 hours. And then I come on live refreshed. Why? Because I've had time to recuperate before I show up here. So I think that's what has made the difference for me, which is really cool. And which means that I think I can handle setting an official schedule for myself for lives moving forward. I was saying earlier that, like, I'm on Twitch, I watch people on Twitch, but I don't actually have like an account for like language coaching and stuff. But I was like, I might decide to probably not. Nope, don't say that to yourself. I can handle once a week showing up and then maybe doing what I used to do, which is playing video games in other languages, because I think that was fun, showing off the different games that you could play and how I use video games. Maybe some of the like casual conversations that we tend to have here. I think it'll be fun. So if that's something that you want to see, know that that is tentatively in the works. But I might need a break from now. Like, once we have this, I might take a little break and then start something like that. Maybe in like September or October. Maybe October. I'll get myself on a schedule and then start officially in October. So I'm not jumping in without a plan. Because that's worse, me jumping in without a plan. Although I think some people seem to like when I just come on live randomly. I'm like, hey, I'm here. Multilingual gaming. Okay, so I'm gonna write it down too. Because there are some games that I consistently play in other languages, and I made a video about it months ago at this point, where I was talking about, well, because there are a lot of people who feel like they're not studying when they're watching a drama or listening to music or, you know, playing video games in that case. I'm like, no, you're studying. That's how I study. That's how my friends study. And I will change the language to games. Some games that are brand new, some games that are games that I've played before, and so I really know how it works. And I'm just playing the game like I normally would. I'm not really necessarily reading anything out loud. I don't do that all the time. I do sometimes in French, just because I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. But generally, I'm just playing the game like I normally would if it were in English. And I know a lot of people really likes that. So Autonauts is a game that I played a lot. And it's like programming robots to do all the things. It's one of my favorite, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, like a game that you play, like rabbit hole game, like a game that you play and then you end up losing 6 hours of your life because you're so sucked into the game that you forget life exists outside of the game. It's one of those for me. Um, and then there's a few that I haven't tried in other languages, but I would be open to playing from scratch with people, and that would be fun. So yeah, any other questions or shares, especially if you have questions about language coaching in general or questions about the coaching week, I am more than happy to answer them. And I'm probably going to stop in about 10 minutes anyway, because I'm going to make some food and eat. I'm going to make some curry and some Japanese curry, I think, because that's now all I'm craving. So it's going to happen. But yeah, any other questions about the coaching week, about language coaching, about me and what I do or my studies? Because I usually only share my language study stuff in my newsletter or on Instagram stories. Like I share some of it there, but most of it's in the newsletter. Um, Speaking of email for tomorrow, did I update that? No, I did not. Okay, I'm gonna put a big note for myself for tomorrow. Um, Share one resource for people to help. Maybe the YouTube video. Yeah, I can share the YouTube video and the blog post. YouTube video plus blog post. And I think I have them linked somewhere. I can find them again. Okay. Note to future Bront'e. Do that thing. All right. There's a screen that mentioned a Facebook group, but it closed too soon. I will actually, let me see if I can get the link right now. Because I don't know what'll happen if you go into Facebook and type Learn a Language Now. I don't know if there's lots of other groups. Okay. You know what? I think. Well, that's not the official group for the coaching week. It's just my free community. So what I can do is I'll write it down now and I'll send you an email with that link to the Facebook group. But that's not the official community for the coaching week. So don't worry, you didn't miss like the official space. But yeah, I will make sure to email. And okay, and I see your email confirmation. So I'll get it to you before I go to sleep tonight. Okay? Got you. I mean, you can also just type in, oh, you found it. Okay, perfect. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen if you type in Learn a Language Now. But glad you're able to find it. Okay. All good. Crisis averted. All right. I think that was everything I wanted to get done for right now. And then I'll pick some things back up in a couple hours after food. Food is important. Yeah. Okay. So I was like triple checking my list over here on the computer to be like, did I do all the things that I need to get done? Yes, I did. I was a very productive person this day in comparison to the other lives when I show up and try to be, and I spend an hour and a half talking and doing nothing. So I want to thank you all, whether you're on YouTube watching me live or you're on TikTok watching me. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, sharing. If you joined my coaching week, I can't wait to connect with you. Doors to the coaching week are open tomorrow. You'll get an email with all the details. Otherwise, I will be live again tomorrow, probably around the same time. So if you want to hang out, come find me on Facebook. Oh, no, not Facebook. Where did Facebook come out? YouTube or TikTok. And I will see you all later. So I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTube people